Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Miss Crochet and Coffee here, and today we are doing our whip and chat. So get out whatever it is you're working on. Beaded cross stitch, diamond painting, coloring. Come work with me while I tell you some coffee house stories from this weekend. I hope you yourself had a wonderful weekend. I had the busiest weekend I've had in a very long time. One, I would like to thank everyone who showed up and showed out at my live this weekend. I have decided that no, I'm not going to stop the lives. I don't have to stop them. That, and I got word that somebody was already trying to claim the spot. So I was like, yeah, I know the moment I give it up, somebody's going to take the spot. And I don't want to go live on top of anybody else. So I have decided that I'm not going to stop lives. Not going to do it. I'm just going to cut them in half. You guys, I cannot tell you how nice it was to be on for only an hour and a half. I was able to still tuck my kids in to go to bed, read them a story. I'm that mom. I'm that cheesy mom that like the apron and the white picket fence and all that. I'm that mom. So I was very, very happy to do the hour and a half live. And it seems like you guys enjoyed it as well because a lot of people got stuff to do on the weekends. They can't be staying up all hours of the night. What was wrong with me doing 3-hour lives? Plus, a lot of people actually watched the replay and was like, this is a lot better than having to essentially, one, watch it on double speed so you're not sitting there for 3 hours watching it back. And, so they're not having to watch it back for 3 hours and they didn't have to put it on double speed to be able to watch it, all the live. I do apologize about the technical difficulties. The internet here has been acting a little wonky. I'm not sure why. Not sure why that is. But we're hopefully going to have that situated by the end of the week so that this Friday coming up, we will have, I might be adult coloring this Friday, to be honest, because I'm hoping to have this done. Now, that could be a yes, that could be a no, because I have been enjoying doing my drawing. I'm learning how to do bodies, faces, noses. It's not as easy as people think. Now, it's coming easily. Like, I feel like I've been doing this my whole life. And technically, I've always tried to draw and then would get frustrated when it wouldn't look like anything. But I never actually gave it like my full 100%, okay, I can do this, whatever. So now that I'm learning that I can, make things that actually look like something, yeah, I'm really enjoying doing it. So I may or may not have this done by Friday. So you might see this Friday. If not, you'll see adult coloring, which is why it's nice to have more than one craft on the channel, because then if I say don't feel like diamond painting, you guys can always see coloring. Not that you care, as long as I'm telling you the stories. So as long as I'm giving you the goods, you fine. So, also, because this was like the main topic of let's shout this out at Miss Coffee the entire live and in her comment section. Now, Patty Wax SS. As you guys know, if you watched the live Friday, I got Patty Wax SS. I am aware that Patty Wax is supposed to go in your single placer. I am aware of that. And if you watch the live, I did put it in the single placer, but I also put it in the multi-placer. And why would I do that? Because I primarily use my multi-placer. I'm one of those folks that I can't do one at a time. That's not my jam. I can't do it. I do what I want to do. So because I do use the single placer, but I don't use it as much as I say use my multi-placer, I decided to put it in both and test it out. Now, the stuff, I was just doing that to essentially show those folks that were a little iffy on whether or not they wanted to try the Patty Wax, if they wanted to get it. Did it work better than, say, the Patty Wax, the regular Patty Wax? So the Patty Wax SS stands for Super Sticky. We call this the Sylvester Stallone edition because, good God, it's strong. So it does work very well. It works both in multi-placer and single placer, even though she recommends that you put it in your single placer. So my thing was, I don't have time to be sitting there going, okay, let me get the scented stuff to put in the multi-placer and then the non-scented stuff to put in the single placer and then keep doing that. That's not my jam. I want to use one wax and go on about my dang business. So I decided, because I hard-headed, that I was going to put the Patty Wax SS in my multi-placer. And you guys, the internet lost their mind. I had people in my comment section. I had people in the live. It's supposed to go in the single placer. I am aware of this. I am aware. I don't care. I just wanted to use it. And I did. And it works great. So even now, this is the same wax in the pen from Friday. Because again, I had just refilled it Friday. I worked on this painting all day yesterday. Well, not all day. Most of the day yesterday. Saturday, I didn't work on anything. I drew Saturday because we got home super late. I'll go into that story here in a few minutes. But I used it Friday in live. And then I used it a little bit after live because I had time after live to do stuff after we finished wrapping the winners' diamond paintings. And no, the giveaways won't be all the time. So for those folks that are like, oh, I got to make it Miss Coffee's giveaway. She's going to do a giveaway tonight. No. That's random. I had no intentions Friday on going into or doing a giveaway. It was just random. I just was like, you know what? I can make some room in that closet for some new releases. We're going to do a giveaway. That's what that was. So congratulations to the winner, the 5 people that were lucky enough to win. I did have quite a few people message me afterwards. I won. I was the first one that did this. And I'm like, dude, look, listen. No. I saw what I saw on my screen. So if we're doing a contest in the live and I tell everybody, I try to remember to tell everybody, make sure you're in live chat, make sure you're not in top chat. I pick the winners based off what I see. And then I have my moderators, which are the people in blue, confirm what I'm seeing so that they know, okay, Miss Coffee's not cheating. She's not going nuts completely. This is who won. Y'all, I had like 40 people message me Friday night after live and was like, I won. Look, my answer was first. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I go off of what I see on my screen, and on my screen is what goes. I can't go off what you have on your screen because I can't see your screen. I can only go off what I see on my screen. I was in top chat, and luckily for me, I fizzled out a lot of those people that were getting upset because they didn't win. I fizzled out a lot of those people because one of my moderators had the best idea ever, which was to screenshot the winners. So she screenshotted them and sent them to me. So that fizzled out a lot of those people's fires that were upset that I was, oh, well, Miss Coffee, you're not being fair. You cheated. Nope. I got photo proof that I didn't cheat. And yes, there were quite a few people that had messaged and were like, I was the first one that answered that question. I was the first one that answered. And I'm like, no, unfortunately you weren't. And I don't know why YouTube does it where you can see something different on your screen than I see on mine. But my moderators, I had 2 or 3 of them confirming with me. They confirmed all my winners. So that's why the winners were chosen that way. So, and I also gave away a bonus one at the after live because of I could do that because I wanted to. Anyways, so I want to say congratulations again to those winners. If you did not win, don't be salty. It's not like this is the last time I'm ever going to do a giveaway. Like, you don't got to be salty about it. Speaking of giveaways, let's take a few minutes to sip with that tea and talk about this Stitcherista thing. Y'all, I felt so bad for her. I remember being there. I've done contests where the winner tried to claim their prize more than once. You guys, listen. That ain't no joke. That really makes you feel like garbage when you're getting scammed out of your own money. And a lot of the times, it's not even just random people. It's people in the community that feel obligated that they should have won and they're mad because they didn't. So they will scam you out of the money because they feel that they should win. Why do people feel like this? I don't know. People can be assholes at times, okay? So here are some tips to my fellow creators that are watching this if you would like to do a giveaway on your channel. 1, make a video. Hey, we're doing a giveaway. Don't title it giveaway. You want your actual subscribers to be able to win the prize, not some random person that just found your channel 2 hours before you decided to draw the winner and comment and put in for their chance to win. You want your actual subscribers to win. So my first tip, do not put giveaway in your title. 2, because then also what will happen, well, people will subscribe to your channel just for that giveaway, get salty that they didn't win, and then they'll unsubscribe. Happens all the time. 2, when you pick your winner, record yourself picking the winner. This is to ensure that everybody knows that you didn't cheat. They want to visually see you picking that winner. Now, don't cheat and try to re-record the video or, whatever. Don't do any editing to that video. That video should be as pure as freshly fallen snow, because you don't want people to think that you're cheating. Sorry, I'm trying to get these drills on here. They're being a little difficult right now. There we go. So then my next tip, never announce the winner until you have already contacted the winner. Why is this? So what I would say is, when you do the contest, okay, when you do your contest, you are going to want to comment on the video that you did the giveaway in. Reply to the comment of the person who won. Say, hey, could you please, don't tell them that they won. Just say, hey, could you please get in contact with me? I would like to speak to you. This way, if somebody goes back, because a lot of people do read the comments. If people go back and read the comments, they won't be any of the wiser that person went or that person won. And you don't want to get, like Citrista had, you don't want 70 people messaging you saying, oh, well, I'm this person. So you have that person contact you out of YouTube land. You try to get their full name. And when they go to verify who they are, ask them for photo ID. You want the photo ID just to verify who they are. If they cannot give you photo ID of any sort, anything with their name on it, with I had one lady show me her electric bill. I was like, look, I can't and won't send you anything until I see something with your name on it. This chick sent me a picture of her electric bill. Y'all, I almost paid that electric bill. It wasn't even that much. Anyways, so that is my tip there. Once the person is confirmed that they are who they say they are, you then give them their prize. After they have received their prize, or after you have relinquished the prize, say you had to mail it off or something, you then put up the video announcing the winner. That way, if anybody else, because you're going to get, I still get it. I did the 5,000 subscriber giveaway. I had people after the 5,000 subscriber winners were announced. I still had people claiming to be Felicia. I had people claiming that they were crafting with Christy. And I'm like, dude, listen, I know Felicia. I know crafting with Christy. You're not them. Like, I had people all up in my email claiming to be them. And I'm like, you're not crafting with Christy, because crafting with Christy knows how to get a hold of me. Not only that, she has my personal cell phone number. So good try, but no. And then I got called all kinds of names outside my government. And I was just like, well, you're getting mad because you couldn't scam me out of my money. No. And that's the sad part. I wasn't even giving away money for my 5,000 subscriber giveaway. I gave away the mug and the diamond painting, so I don't know what was wrong with people. Either way. But those are my tips to assuring that you don't get scammed out of your prizes for your subscribers. Because if you put up the video like Stitcherista did, that gives people ammunition to be deceitful and be like, oh, well, I'm so-and-so. And she even said, even after she had talked to the one lady, she still got 2 more emails of people claiming to be that lady. But if you don't reveal who the winners are until after the winner has already either A, received their prize, if it's a digital prize, or B, the prize has been sent out, then they don't have a chance to deceive you because they have no clue that you already picked the winner and that the winner has been contacted. Luckily, I know enough of you guys on here that if I say the winner is this person, I know most of y'all are real people. Some of y'all I don't talk to a whole lot, but that's okay. Some of y'all work and lurk, and I can deal with that too. Just every once in a while, poke your head up in the group or something. Be like, hey, Miss Coffee, I'm a person. Don't have me thinking like that I did with the diamond painting review, Jean. I thought that poor lady for I don't know, a few months. I thought that poor lady was a freaking bot. Like, I thought she was I thought she was a bot that took care of trolls in a group, because I met her in Fruitini's group. That's a thing. All right, sorry about that. Mr. Coffee stopped by to get his work truck. So let's talk about Mr. Coffee. So this weekend, like I said, we had a really busy weekend. I had to mail off all the giveaway, winners packages. And there's a couple other things I had to mail off because I've been promising people that I was going to mail off stuff. Some of the stuff I still haven't gotten out to mail yet. Ooh, excuse me. I got the hiccups. But I will get that out as soon as I can. It's actually warming up outside, so I don't mind being outside when it's warm. It's just when it's frigidly cold, I'm like, yeah, I'm not making any other unnecessary trips outside. So we went ahead and we're like, okay, so we need to go to bed at a good time. And this was Friday night. And I was like, Mr. Coffee, if you didn't know, he's losing his work truck. Now, Mr. Coffee drives this gigantic Dodge Ram 3500 8-foot extended bed truck for work. He works in the oil field, so he needs like, a big truck. So he was driving this truck, and he's had the truck for 3 years. He took really good care of it, but they let him know the truck is past its time. Like most work vehicles, they only work up to a certain time, and then they take them and send them out to auction. And then at auction, they sell them as is. So then they're like, however it looks is however they're getting it. So Mr. Coffee was alerted that his truck was up for grabs to go to auction. Now, he's been avoiding this like the plague. Mr. Coffee loves his work truck. That's his baby. That's like, he'd do anything for that work truck. So as I'm sitting here, he's like, well, I would like to go look at trucks. I know I probably won't get one. And he sounded defeated already before we even got to the dealership, because we're so used to people telling us no. Our credit, when we got together, my credit was fine. Minus my school loans, I had nothing else on my credit history. Mr. Coffee's credit was bad, like real bad, like bad. So for us to get anything, they would put both of us on the loan, because with my credit score and his work history, we can get anything. Together, we can do anything. Separately, we can't do nothing. So, because at the time, I didn't have like the work history to, get anything. So I would have to use his work history, and then he didn't have the credit. So then he had to use mine. So he was like, I'm not looking to get anything. And in Pennsylvania, whenever we would try to get vehicles and stuff, we were always no, you have to have like 7,000 credit score and all this. So we're just used to being told no. Now, we've been doing great since we moved to North Dakota. Like financially, we've been doing very well. We're not rich, but we're doing decent for ourselves. We don't want for anything. And that's all we've ever wanted, was to not want for anything. We went from essentially not knowing how to put groceries in the house to now we can, go buy whatever we need whenever we need it. Hell, Mr. Coffee worked 3 jobs and we still qualified for food stamps when we lived in Pennsylvania. So that's how well we're doing now. We're not having to be on assistance or anything like that. Not that there was anything wrong with it, because believe me, they saved our tails when we lived in Pennsylvania, okay? Ain't nothing wrong with being on assistance. If you need a little help, feel free to ask for help, because, that saved us when we lived in Pennsylvania. But now that we're out here and we're doing better, we've never tried to get anything, because we just assumed that everybody was going to tell us no. Now, North Dakota is like a very diverse place. There's a little bit of everybody here. You got whites, you got blacks, you got Hispanics, you got Puerto Ricans, you got Mexicans. You got a little bit of everything, okay? They even have a place here called Taco John's I want to try, but I was told that you need a roll of toilet paper to try them. And I was like, I don't think I want to try them. I don't think it's worth the intestinal obstruction that I feel is going to come to me if I try this place. Either way. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, yes, we can go to the dealership, because we had quite a few things we needed to do this weekend. We needed to go to the dealership to see about what we needed to do to get into a car. We needed to go to the realtor to see what we needed to do to get into a house. We needed to mail off all those packages. I needed to get my oil changed in my car, because I've been avoiding that like the plague, because for some reason, and when I lived in Pennsylvania, and I told you guys a story about like the car thing, where how whenever I would, maybe I didn't tell you guys. Was that the Patreons I told? Anyways, so if you didn't know, when I lived in Pennsylvania, I tried to get a car, and I was told the sticker price on the car was $18. The guy was trying to tell me it was going to be $27 altogether with tax, title, all that fun stuff. Well, then the next day, Mr. Coffee went to go look at the exact same car. The sticker said 18, and he was offered 16 for it. So we took the deal, and then I showed up to let the guy know, yeah, look, I knew you were ripping me off, but here's my husband, and thank you for taking $2,000 off the sticker price. To which the guy looked very peeved that he was deceived, and I'm like, now you see how I feel, sucker. Anyways, so we're just used to being like, when you don't have the best credit in the U.S., you're essentially labeled as, you can't get anything, you ain't doing nothing, don't try to do nothing. It kind of gives you this defeated feeling at life because you can't do anything. So we go to the dealership, or he says, we should go up to the dealership, talk to them, see what they can do for us. And I was like, we'll do that. Don't worry, we got this. So we go to the dealership, and we're sitting there. Well, first thing, okay, let me scroll back because I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. I wake up at 8 o'clock on Saturday, and I go, okay, I need to get these packages out, because the packages that needed to go out was a big box of coloring supplies for Pawpaw and my niece and nephews. That box, oh my God, you guys, that box. I was like, okay, I need to get up, go to the post office, and then I'll come back, wake him up, we'll get my oil changed, and then we'll go, because I'm thinking oil change is going to take all day, or at least a good portion of the day. And I was scared to go get my oil changed, and the reason why I procrastinated is because when I lived in Pennsylvania, every time I would go get any car work done, I was told that I needed all this extra stuff. Oh, you came in for your oil change, but it looks like you need new tires, brake tie rods, shocks, this, that. Like the one time somebody had me literally pay almost $400 for extra stuff that they did to the car that didn't need to be done. So I'm a little weary about going and get stuff done on my car, especially by myself. In Pennsylvania, where I lived, they were very notorious for taking advantage of women, especially if you were a woman by yourself that didn't know anything about cars. You were essentially ripped off. Like, that's just how they did things in Pennsylvania. If you could prove it, you might be able to do something, but if you can't prove it, then, you just got ripped off. So I'm very weary of doing things by myself, and I like, you get in this mindset. I don't want to say PTSD, but it's almost like shopping horror PTSD, where you're afraid to go do other things by yourself for fear that somebody's gonna rip you off or whatever. You get traumatized by it. There you go. You get traumatized. So I've been traumatized by a lot of the horrible things that happened when I lived in PA. So I'm very leery of how I do things now. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take the stuff up to the post office, and then I'm going to come back, wake him up, go get the oil changed, and then we'll go out to the car dealership, see what they have to say. We'll meet with the realtor. We'll go over to AT&T because Mr. Coffee wanted to go over to AT&T, and I'll explain that here in a little bit. And then we will go over to the hair salon because Orion had to get a haircut, y'all. Orion was rocking the fro. He's starting to look like that guy from the NFL. What was that guy's name? Can't remember the guy's name. But he had like the curly afro going. Orion doesn't like getting his hair cut. Okay. Orion likes having the afro. He loves rocking his afro. He's very proud of his afro. And I am proud of the afro too, but to the point where like it needed to be cut. So he got a haircut. He looked very cute. I told him he looked very handsome. He gave me this dirty look like, Mom. You know how little boys are. Anyways, so I get up at 8 o'clock. My alarm goes off. I don't jump right out of bed. I sit there for a few minutes, and I'm like, okay, get your lazy tail up. We got stuff to do today. Put on your big girl pants. So I put on, and I check the weather, because the weather is a big indicator on how quickly I'll get out of bed. But I knew I had to move quick because I had to be a stealthy ninja because I didn't want to wake up the kids. Because at this point, 8 o'clock on a Saturday in my house, ain't nobody awake, okay? Nobody wakes up in this house on the weekend until about 11 o'clock. So, unless there's something going on or somebody has to do something, nobody's waking up in my house until after 11. So, I'm sitting there, and I was like, okay, let me get up. Let me get dressed. Let me get this stuff out to the car. I had to take 3 trips out to the car because of all the packages I had to send off. I had to send off Rachel's birthday gift and the contest winners' prizes. And I just had a lot of stuff I needed to ship off. I think there was like 15 packages all together. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll go ahead and ship all this stuff off. Well, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, so I get all the stuff out to the car. I'm already dressed and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go. I get to the post office before it opens. Now, our post office doesn't open until 9 o'clock. It's open from 9 to noon on Saturdays. So I was like, I want to be one of the first ones to get in and get out because it's going to take a while because of all the packages. So I try to get there early, first thing in the morning. So I'm sitting there waiting for the doors to open and I'm checking my messages. I'm checking to see what's going on YouTube land. Finally, the lady opens the thing. I walk in. Now, I had one really, really heavy, big package. That was the package to Pawpaw because it had the coloring books and markers and all that fun stuff in it. So the lady looks at me and she's like, any internationals? And I was like, yep, we're going to Ireland again. She goes, okay. This is to the same lady in Ireland. I was like, yes, it's to the same lady. So she starts typing because at this point I've sent so much stuff off to Rachel, the one lady that always waits on me. Almost, she knows Rachel's address better than I do. That's the sad part. She knows Rachel's address better than I do. The sad part is she's not an elderly woman, but she's older than I am. Like, she has to be early 50s, possibly. But she remembers Rachel's address. I never can. She always tells me, like, what Rachel would have as a zip code, because I always forget to write it on the envelope. So she'll write it on the envelope for me. And I'm like, I'm glad you remember this stuff, because I don't remember nothing. Anyways, so I'm sitting there. And she's typing stuff in. She's typing stuff in. She gets almost done and the computer freezes. You guys, I almost had a heart attack. I was like, why? I'm going to be here all day. I wanted to hurry up and get back to the house before anybody realized that I was gone. So I was like, oh God, this is going to take all day. What's going on with the computers? And every time I send something to Ireland, this happens. I don't know why, but their computer system does not like sending things to Ireland. Let me take a sip of something because my throat is bothering me. So cheers. That French vanilla first thing in the morning. Yes. All right. So their computer system doesn't like sending things to Ireland, okay? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, crap. It's going to do the thing where it freezes your computer. And she's like, what? Next thing I know, boom, it froze her computer. And she was just like, oh no, oh no, oh no. So she got it up and working again, got everything rescanned. Y'all, why did I spend $212 at the post office sending off packages? And then, like, I let Rachel know, hey, you got a package on the way. I'm sorry it's late. It just took some time and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, it's okay. Can I help with shipping? No, you can sit there and mind your damn business, Rachel. It's a birthday gift. No, you can't help with shipping. Rachel likes to help with shipping. And I always tell her no, but then she'll try to send me the money or something, and I have to yell at her sometimes. I feel bad yelling at her because it's Rachel, and you can't be mean to Rachel. She's like the nicest person on the planet. She's like a box of kittens. So I'm like, no, you can't help with shipping. You can sit there and wait for your package. So she was like, oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Now, she don't talk like that, obviously. You guys know how Rachel talks. It's like that soothing, like, butter voice. But either way. So I'm sitting there. $212 later, boom, done at the post office. And I was like, oh, luckily I got my tuber money the day before. So I was like, oh, thank God. Because I didn't want to spend the house money on that. Pawpaw's package, you guys, Pawpaw's package, $65, okay? No, I'm sorry, it was $75. $75. Why? Because the package was 28 pounds. It was books, coloring books, markers, color pencils, 2 diamond paintings. Like, there was just a big freaking box of stuff for Pawpaw. And so that box was like $85. But did you guys know that there's a separate shipping charge for books? Yeah, me either. So I'm at the post office and the lady goes, now what's in this big package? And I was like, all I said was books. I didn't get a chance to say anything else because I was sitting there thinking, what all did I put in that box? So I was like, books. And she goes, oh, books. Okay. Well, there's a separate shipping charge for that. And I was like, I'm sorry, say what? I got to pay extra for that? And she's like, no, it actually bring your price down. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. She goes, there's like an educational shipping rate, something that if you ship books, it lowers your shipping costs. And I was like, really? I'm like, but does it get there? It still get there in a reasonable amount of time? Because I don't want to send this off today and he get it next year. And she starts laughing. She's like, nah, we got you. Papa will get his gift. Because, yes, people at the post office call my dad Papa as well. She's like, nah, the people, he'll still get it, in a reasonable amount of time. He'll get it by the end of the week next week. And I was like, oh, okay, well, as long as he gets it soon, because, Papa's got to have his stuff. And she's like, oh, yeah, he'll get it. He'll be fine. I was like, all right, cool. So she brings it up under this educational, she's shipping a crap ton of books option. You guys, it went from $85 to $17. I was like, say word. For real? You lying. Why you lying? Why the hell you lying? Like, I was just like, you are joking right now. Like, seriously? I'm like, you know how many books I've sent my dad and didn't realize that there was a separate shipping charge? And she was like, yeah, next time you send him anything that's educational, if it's educational wise, like books and stuff, she goes, we have a separate charge for that. And I was like, oh, snap. Thanks for that heads up. So now whenever I send Papa books, I know I don't have to pay the outrageous charge because those things are heavy as all get out. So, yes, for saving money. But yeah, $212 later I still paid $212 after Papa's box got lowered in shipping. Just because, again, I had a lot of stuff I needed to ship off. Some of it wasn't even YouTube stuff. Some of it was just normal, everyday life, Leisha stuff. So, I got everything shipped off. I'm sitting in the car and I go, wait, Jiffy Lube is open. Now, Jiffy Lube is where I take my car, like, whenever I have an issue. Like, if I took my car a couple weeks ago to get air put in the tires. And they'll put air in the tires. They'll top off your fluids in between oil changes and everything. So, I just went there not too long ago. So, I knew where Jiffy Lube was. I didn't know where it was from the post office. But I knew essentially where it was. And I was just like, why do I need to go home and wake him up to go get my oil changed? I need to stop depending on him so much for stuff and do things on my own. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to get to Jiffy Lube from the post office, which is on the other side of town. So it was a straight line. So I'm glad I did. So I get in the car and I start driving and I go, okay, let's just get to somewhere familiar. And then once I hit a familiar place, because I look around a lot whenever I'm in a new place I don't do street signs. How many people don't do street signs? You do things you see. Like, there'll be like a fork in the road. Or there'll be something hanging from the power lines. And you're like, okay, turn at the place where the four shoes are hanging from the power line. Look for the row of mailboxes. That's how I navigate and get around. I know some people are very inclined to using traffic signs and all this. No, not Miss Coffee. Miss Coffee needs, like... She needs things that are like a traffic or like the roundabouts. I can look in at myself and go, okay, get to the roundabout, you'll know where you're at. Or find racers, or look for that place that has the 3 poles sticking out of the ground. That's how I navigate around town. I can't help it, but it works for me. And because it works for me, that's how I navigate around. So I rarely ever use my GPS, and the GPS in my car started acting up, so I turned it off. And I still have my phone's GPS, so I was like, I'll get there. I'll get there on my own. He'll see. I can do things by myself. So I went straight from the post office, found Jiffy Lube. Literally took me 5 minutes to get there, and I was like, sweet. Hit all the green lights on the way. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, all right. I pull up, and before I can even get out the car, the guy's like, hey, hi, ma'am, how are you doing today? I'm like, I'm good. He goes, you're the one that called about the oil change. I was like, yes, sir, I am. And he goes, all right, don't worry. Go ahead and leave the keys in it. We'll hook you up. They literally were open at 7:30. This was at I want to say 10 o'clock, because it did take me a while at the post office, because the post office doesn't open until 9. So it was about 10 o'clock by the time I got there. And he goes, go ahead and leave the keys in the car. We'll take care of it for you. Did you need any oil or your fluids topped off or anything like that? Have you been here before? I'm like, I've been here before. If you could check the tires and top off my fluids, I would greatly appreciate it. And the guy was like, all right, no problem. Go ahead and leave the keys in it. We'll take care of it. Y'all, they open at 7:30. This was 10 o'clock. There was nobody there. And I was like, yes. They got me right in. I was in and out of there in 20 minutes. The guy comes in and shows me the oil filter. And he goes, ma'am, when's the last time you had the oil changed in your car? And I was like, and I know how to check my dipstick and stuff, but I don't know like oil filters and all that. And because I live in a place where it has very fine dirt, you want to get your oil changed when you're supposed to, because that fine dirt will mess up your car. So I was like, 2 years ago. Now, I got this super fancy oil, which isn't fancy, but I got this oil that will last up to 5,000 miles instead of 3,000. So I literally was 322 miles away from 5,000, and that's in 2 years. The guy goes, you don't drive your car much, do you, ma'am? I was like, no, sir, I don't. I was like, how could you tell? He goes, because your oil filter really isn't as dirty as I would have thought it would have been for it being 2 years ago. He goes, I was just checking to see if you maybe had it done, because he's like, I saw the sticker in the window, but I was in disbelief. And I was like, why were you in disbelief? He goes, because you haven't had an oil change in 2 years. And I was like, I don't drive my car much. Like, the tires on my car are at least 4 years old, but they look brand new because I rarely drive my car. Especially now, I drive from the kids' school home, or I'll drive the dogs to the dog park and back. I don't go anywhere super whatever with my car. The biggest trip I've made with my car since I've gotten it is moving from Pennsylvania to North Dakota. So all of that was good. And the guy goes, I'm just in shock at how well the oil isn't, it's dirty, but it's not like outrageously dirty. The oil filter isn't bad. He goes, we're still going to change it though. We're still going to change it because it is dirty. So we're going to change all this stuff in here. We're going to make sure you're okay. He goes, is there anything else? He goes, and he's like explaining things to me in a way that I would understand. Like, it's like he knew I didn't understand the car lingo. So he was explaining it to me in a way that I can understand. And I really appreciate them doing that. So you guys, I love me some Jiffy Lube. Like, that's the only place I will take my car now. They checked my tires. They were like, ma'am, I don't even think you need your tires rotated, to be honest. He goes, but, did you want us to rotate them? And I was like, well, if they look good where they're at, don't even worry about it. He goes, all right. He comes out and the guy's like, all right, it's going to be this much money. And I was like, all right, cool. Thank you guys so much. And the guy goes, hold up a second. He's waving me down. And I see them like pointing at something and looking at me. And I'm like, oh, snap. Here we go. Here we go with this BS. What did they find? And the guy goes, ma'am, have you been driving with your emergency brake on this entire time? And I'm like, excuse me? He goes, have you been driving around with your emergency brake on? And I'm like, no. He goes, well, when they pulled it into the garage, the guy said that the emergency brake was on. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, have you been driving with it on? I'm like, no. Okay, so where I'm from in Pennsylvania is a very hilly place. I lived on the side of a mountain, okay? So one day when I got my first car, I lived in Pennsylvania. I didn't put the emergency brake on and I watched my car roll down a hill. Luckily, I was able to run, catch it. Y'all, I was like a gazelle, okay? I was a cheetah that day. I jumped in the window as it was rolling down the street because it was on a hill. That, and I forgot to put it in park. It was the first time I drove, okay? Give me a break. So I'm sitting there and I jump through the window, get the car to stop with my hand because I jumped through. So like my whole body is in the front seat and I wasn't sitting straight up. I was laying down essentially on the seat. So I had to use my hand to put on the brakes. It's not like San Francisco hilly, but it's close. I would say where I lived at was. So I got traumatized by that. So now whenever I park my car, I put on the e-brake. Especially here because, there's a lot of ice and snow and all that fun stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to put the e-brake on. And the guy was like, oh, okay. We were just making sure that you weren't driving. He goes, your brakes look really good. He goes, but we were making sure you weren't driving around on it. I'm like, no. my car will actually yell at you if you leave the e-brake on and start driving. Like after like 2 seconds, it'll start beeping. And then you'll notice the car will gradually start to slow down. And it'll tell you, like your light will flash and tell you that the e-brake is on. So the guy was like, oh, okay. Well, we were just making sure. And I was like, all right, cool. So, hold on, let's get all these drills with the cavities in them. I feel like I'm at the dentist's office right now. Jeez, So the guy's like, all right. They get everything figured out. They change the oil. They change the air filter. They show me the old air filter just so I can verify that they actually did change it. Because I asked them, could they show it to me when they were done? Because in Pennsylvania, they would tell you that they changed it. You'd go check and see why your car's running funny. And here, they never changed the air filter. That happened to me like 3 times. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I got the oil changed. I got the packages off. It's time to go home, feed the kids, get them their medicine, take the dogs out, wake up Mr. Coffee, because Mr. Coffee, he's a pain in the butt to wake up. So I was like, wake up Mr. Coffee, and then we can go head out. First thing first, we're going to the car dealership. So he had already been looking online at trucks and saw a couple that he really liked that they had on the lot. So he was like, we're just going to take a look at the trucks that they have. He goes, I'm not getting my hopes up that we're going to get something. I just want to see what they have and see what we need to do to get, a new car. Because they took Mr. Coffee's work truck, Mr. Coffee was driving a Volkswagen Jetta. He loved that car. It was the first car he ever bought that he was able to pick out and go, I want this car, and they were able to get him that car. So he was very attached to his little car. But we live in North Dakota, okay? This is not a car place. This isn't a place, like, there are lots of people around here that drive cars. But I wouldn't suggest it. Like, with all the snow they get and everything else, no. So Mr. Coffee was like, all right, let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and look at trucks. I want to get a bigger vehicle, because I have an SUV. So, like, I'm straight in the snow because my car sits up a little higher off the ground than, say, a car would. So he's like, I just want something a little bit bigger. And I was like, all right. So we go to the car dealership. People are there, really nice, really friendly. Now, if you go to a car dealership to look at vehicles, 1, they're going to try to get you in a car. 2, after they check your credit, if they haven't told you no, they're going to try to get you into any car that they can get off the lot, like something that they've had sitting there for a while. Now, these were some of the friendliest car people I have ever dealt with. The one lady comes out and she's like, hey, she says hi to me first, which is very rare. A lot of the times whenever we go places and there's a female, for some reason they always eye Mr. Coffee up first and say hi to him. And then I get like this sly little, oh, hi. So she looked at me first. She said hi to me first. She said hi to him. She said hi to the kids. She's like, oh my gosh, look at your little girl. She's beautiful. And Maggie goes, I'm a princess. And I'm like, yes, that's Princess Maggie. And Ryan's like, I'm Orion. She goes, that's my brother. And the lady's like, oh, aren't you guys cute? She goes, you guys want to go play with toys? And they look at each other. They're like, yeah. The lady takes the kids. And I'm like, okay, well, how's she going to help us if she just took the kids? She's over there playing with the kids, and another guy comes up. He's like, hey, guys, I see you got your kids kidnapped. I was like, yeah, we were just looking at vehicles for my husband. He currently drives a truck for work, so we're kind of looking for something like in that range. Now, Mr. Coffee, again, was driving a Dodge 3500 for work. Just this big, gaudy truck. He loved that thing, though. And so we're sitting there, and I kept peeking over to make sure the kids were okay, and they were playing blocks with the lady, and she got them juice boxes, and they had donuts and candy, and they're just having a good old time over there. And so the guy's like, what exactly are you looking for? We're walking the lot with the guy, and we're explaining to the guy about Mr. Coffee's, what he's looking for, and the one truck he was looking at, he qualified to get, but they had just sold it 2 minutes before we got there, which I'm kind of glad that they did. Don't tell them. But that truck color was hideous. It looked like baby food green, like a Dijon mustard green yellow. You guys. Now, I don't do good with hues, but I could see that color clear as day, and it looked awful. And I was like, please, God, I do not want to be seen in this truck. Now, I rarely ever ride with Mr. Coffee anywhere. because I have the family vehicle. So if we go somewhere, we fuss because he wants to drive his car, and I'm like, yeah, no, we're driving mine. Now we just driving his new, well, yeah. Anyways, so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, yeah, so Mr. Coffee's looking at all these, you know, really huge, nice trucks, and he's looking at a Rebel and all this, and I'm like, look here, dude, you got champagne or caviar dreams with a Budweiser budget. You might want to chill out a little bit. And he's like, well, I'm just looking. He test drove 2 cars, and he wasn't even looking at those cars. He just wanted to test drive them because they were pretty. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, you know, I'm getting cold. It was like 30 degrees outside, so it wasn't frigidly cold, thank God. So I was walking around a little bit. I started getting cold. Mr. Coffee, you know, takes off his little jacket and throws it over my shoulders, and he goes, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm just getting a little cold. And I had a jacket on, just walking around outside, and the wind was blowing a little bit, and so he like hands me his jacket. He has on like thermals and another like really nice sweater underneath, so he wasn't cold. Mr. Coffee has gained the North Dakota skin. So I'm sitting there, and I got his jacket on, my jacket on, my hat, and we're looking at the stuff. Meanwhile, the guy that's showing us the cars is in a short sleeve shirt, just walking around like it's 70 degrees outside, and I'm just like, no, where's your jacket, boo-boo? You gonna get sick. Go figure. I'm the one that's getting sick. So I'm sitting there, and Mr. Coffee spots this white truck. And he's like, what about this truck? What's up with this truck? He sees it's a Dodge. And he's like, what's up with this truck? This truck isn't on your website. And the guy goes, yeah, it is. He goes, we literally just put it on there last week. We just got it in last week. And Jordan goes, really? And the guy goes, yeah, it's a 2014 Dodge Ram. It's a 3500. Y'all, I don't think I've seen my husband so excited in his entire life. He was like, 3500? Now, Mr. Coffee, he drives 3500 for work. So he was just like, hold up. He takes and walks around the entire vehicle. And he goes, oh my God. And I was like, what? And he goes, it's my work truck. And I was like, what? You guys, it's the exact same as his work truck, except for it's 3 years newer. Apparently, it was a working truck, but the person that traded it in for something smaller, because I guess they didn't need something that big. It's a diesel, which I'm worried about that because gas, good God. It's a diesel, but it's the exact same truck as his work truck. You guys, that boy was happier than a pig in mud. He was just like, oh my God. Like he did that, like, I'm 8 years old in school, and that boy that I like sent me a I like you note. And he was like flapping his hands around, and I'm like, you being a little bit extra right now. He goes, don't be hating on me because I'm excited. And I'm like, you know what? Okay, all right, be excited, honey. He goes, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. How much is this truck? Now, that truck, normally brand new, runs about $45,000. And I'm like, we're not paying that. I'm sorry. The guy's like, what payments are you looking to get? And I'm like, I'm looking to stay below 600, okay? Anything above that, nah, I can't. The way my bank account's set up, I got to check it into savings, and neither one of them going to pay for a $900 car note. And the guy's like, all right. Well, you know, this car isn't that expensive. And I was like, it's not? And he goes, no, it's only 25. And y'all, he said 25. Mr. Coffee himself had an asthma attack. He goes, did you say 25? And the guy goes, yeah. So for those folks that are new, hey, I'm Miss Coffee. We's a little bit extra when we get excited around here, okay? We all's got the asthma, and Mr. Coffee had the asthma that day. He was just like, oh my God, $25,000 for this car. It's the same as my work truck, but newer. And he goes, hold up, what's wrong with it? So we had them print out a Carfax history report on the car. No major accidents, no major damage to the car, no major work done to the car. It's essentially they drove it for a little while, realized it was too big, and then bought something smaller. That's all it was. It only has 95,000 miles on it, which for a diesel is nothing. Mr. Coffee was like, hun, I really want this car. And I'm like, hun, test drive it first. Make sure it runs okay. Make sure it's not making any clinking noises. Make sure it's not a lemon, because I can't tell you how many times people have bought in cars around me that were lemons and were upset by the third day that they got the car. So he goes, okay. So we got the kids and we went for a test drive for about 20 minutes. And the guy's like, yeah, you guys just go ahead. He goes, you know, we got Paw Paw Bear, so we know you'll come back. And for those of you who don't know who Paw Paw Bear is, it's a cloud pet. It's a teddy bear that has my dad's voice on it for Maggie, because she gets comfort from hearing Paw Paw's voice randomly and scaring the crap out of everybody with it. So they kept hold of Paw Paw Bear, because in that way it would assure us that we would come back. So Maggie was like telling the lady how to take care of Paw Paw Bear. So she had the lady at the dealership babysit her teddy bear, and I'm just like, oh good God. I'm not even joking, you guys. When we got back from test driving the car, the lady had the bear in her hand like a baby, walking around with the bottle that Maggie has for it, like acting like she was feeding the baby. I don't know if she did it because she saw us pulling back up, or if she just was doing it because she wanted to do it, but it was the cutest freaking thing ever. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cute. And Maggie looks at the lady, thanks for taking good care of Paw Paw Bear. Better than Mommy does. Mommy doesn't even feed him. I'm like, oh, that's messed up. Don't be throwing me under the bus. So we test drove the car. The car sounded great. We might have made a stop to the diesel mechanics at my husband's job to have them take a quick look over at the truck. They, you know, kick the tires, check under the hood and everything. And the diesel mechanics at his job said the car looks great. You know, that's a steal. If you can get it, because you're not going to find a car that big for that good of a price. So we get back to the place, and they had already had all of our information. Like, we had given them all of our information to look up for our credit to see if we qualify for the car and how much the loan was going to be. And so we get back from the test drive, and the lady takes the kids again, and she goes and plays with the kids. And the guy goes, it's just going to be a few more minutes. And I'm like, it's okay. You know, we're just going to hang out here and chit chat a little bit. I'm like, you know, what are the chances that we'll get approved for this? Because he really likes it. And the guy looks at us. He goes, what do you mean? I'm like, well, what are our chances of them, you know, saying, yeah, we can get it, and the prices won't be high for the payments? And the guy goes, oh, well, you've already been approved twice, actually. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? He goes, yeah, you've already been approved for the truck. He goes, we're just checking with the third bank to make sure and see if they can't give you a lower payment. And I was like, hold up, say word. And he goes, word, chick? I was like, for real? He was like, yeah. He goes, yeah, your payments right now look like they're going to be a little bit less than $600 a month. And I was like, say word, shut up. On your mother? And he goes, on my mother, girl. I was like, I rolled with him. I rolled with him because whenever I would throw it out at him, he would throw it back. So I could deal with him. I like this. So Mr. Coffee's sitting there, and he goes, what did the guy say? And I'm like, we've already been approved for the truck. And he goes, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. Now, you guys, another reason why this truck means a lot to Mr. Coffee is Mr. Coffee works very hard at his job, okay? He's been at his job a total of 5 years, okay? Which is the longest somebody in the oil field has probably been at one particular job. And his big thing is he feels like he has nothing to show for it. Yeah, his family's up here, and the thing is, too, his job actually paid for us to come up here. They paid the U-Haul and truck for us to get here. So, like, they paid for us to get here, and so Mr. Coffee, he has this thing where he doesn't feel like he has anything to show for the fact that, you know, he's worked this long at this job, and he's been looking for a new job. He hasn't gotten any bites yet. He went on an interview that he thought went really well and then was turned down for the job, and he was really feeling defeated. Mr. Coffee needed this win, okay? So when I tell you that I was so happy for my husband that day, you guys, I was cheering him on in my head, not outside of my head because it would have been a little extra, but I was cheering him on, and I was so excited because the way his face lit up, he was so excited. The guy comes back to us in about 5 minutes, and he goes, okay, guys, here we go. So you got 3 approvals from the banks, which is great. He goes, what's even better is all 3 approvals are less than $600. And I was like, or 2 of the approvals were less than $600. One of them was at like 8 something. And he goes, so we're just going to, you know, we're going to get rid of that second one we looked at because that's too much. He goes, your choices are, for your payments are $632 or $591. So of course we opted for the $591. It's a 6-year loan, which I'm like, he'll have it forever, so I don't care how long the loan is. Plus, we can, you know, what we normally do is we put a big chunk of cash on the vehicles at tax time to kind of take a year or two off. So like his Jetta, we paid on his Jetta for 3 years, and it was a 5-year loan. So we put extra money on it at tax time, because tax time is a time where we get all new clothes and shoes and stuff for the kids, get all the stuff we need for the dogs done. They get new dog beds, and then me and Mr. Coffee usually will throw some coin at our cars, and then with a little bit that's left afterwards, we'll do something, you know, nice for the family. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay. So we get to signing all the paperwork. Mr. Coffee still has that I can't believe it's not butter look on his face. He's smiling, Cheshire cat smile ear to ear. He gets the truck keys, and I look at the key and I go, does this have remote start? Because one of the big things with Mr. Coffee's current car is it doesn't have remote start. The truck that he drives for work doesn't have remote start. And it gets cold here in North Dakota, so he'll have to go outside, scrape off his windows, sit for 10 minutes and let it heat up, and then, you know, be on his little merry way. The guy goes, yeah, it has remote start. Y'all, I don't think that smile could get any bigger on that man's face. And then he goes, it also has a what do they call it? A block heater. And I was like, hold up, for real? For those of y'all who don't know what a block heater is, it's something that keeps your car from freezing up in the winter. And because he has a diesel, he needs that. That's something that he would have had to purchase himself, and they're not cheap. But luckily, the car came with one. And it essentially is something that's, I guess it's on your engine or something. I don't know exactly how the inner workings of it works. I know somebody will probably put it down in the comment section for me. But it leaves a plug sticking out of the grill of your car, and you use that plug to plug it up. Because a lot of the places around here have, like, where you can park next to a plug and plug your car up, as if it was like electronics or something. So he went ahead and there we go. He went ahead and was like signing paperwork. We talked to the people about the insurance, or about how we go about getting the insurance and switching it from one car to the other, which we have to do today. Because we completely forgot yesterday because he was just so excited about it. So we drive off the lot, and he goes, I cannot believe we drove in with a 2013 Jetta, Volkswagen Jetta, and we drove off the lot with a 2014 Dodge Ram 3500. He's still like smiling ear to ear. He did make, like, when we finally did start coming home, he was like, I wonder if this will fit in the garage with my Jetta. And I'm like, I don't know, but I highly doubt it will have to. And he goes, why not? I'm like, because you don't have the Jetta anymore. And he's like, oh, snap. I was like, yeah. Maggie, of course, was sad because Maggie doesn't do well with change. She's like mommy. She doesn't like change, which is sad because the only constant in life is change. So I was like, don't worry, Maggie. As soon as Maggie got in that thing and we got off that lot, she's like, I love this big truck. She can get in the car by herself because it has like the little running boards on the sides and everything. So she feels like a really big girl in Daddy's truck. So she's excited. Orion loves it because it's a truck. He just likes big vehicles. He asked, you know, is this a monster truck? And I'm like, Orion, we've seen the monster trucks before. And he goes, I know. They were about as big as Daddy's truck. And I was like, Jordan was like, you know, no, it's not a monster truck. It's a man's truck. And I was just like, oh, sweet, here we go. So then he spent the rest of the day, like every time we drive a truck, oh, that's a sissy truck, Ford, gross. And I was like, oh God. Anyways, so then we left the car dealership with his car. He's all excited. He goes, now we have one stop to make that I want to make for you. At this point, it's late in the day. It took us about 3 hours to get all that stuff done. It's late in the day. And so he's like, we got 2 more stops to make technically because we wanted to get the kids some dinner because they were great. They were great at the dealership. We really didn't have to do anything with them because the lady took care of them while we did our paperwork and stuff, which I think all dealerships should have somebody that does that. The lady, it's not like that was her job. It wasn't her job to take care of the kids. She was a salesperson. But she just thought the kids were cute and wanted to play with them. And I was like, okay, you got baby fever? She had baby fever, so I thought that was cute. So yeah, they were like, oh, well, we got one more stop to make, and then, you know, we can go home. And I was like, oh, sweet, cool, we'll do that. He wanted to go to the AT&T store. I didn't know why. I just know he wanted to go. But with that, I'm going to hold on. I'm going to start a new clip. All right. See, it's only a blink. Don't worry. Don't worry. The story ain't going nowhere. So I'm sitting there. This also might be a long whipping chat, y'all. I'm sitting there and I'm minding my own business. And I'm like, you know, why are we going to the AT&T store? He goes, I want to check out something. I was like, all right. And I'm thinking, you just got a truck. We ain't getting nothing else. And our phones are through AT&T. So I was like, we're not adding anything else to this bill. Okay? We're not doing it. The bill's in my name because, of course, I had the better credit, so I was able to get the better deal. And so I was like, I'm not adding anything else. On our phone bill, we have Minna, Maggie's tablet, Orion's tablet, Mr. Coffee's phone, and my phone. So I'm like, I'm not adding anything else. And I had mentioned to you guys in live, so if you missed live, I had mentioned in live, one of the reasons why I started trying to draw is because I would like to know what it's like to be featured as a Diamond Art Club diamond painting. Like, I want to eventually one day have my work featured as a Diamond Art Club exclusive. Of course I would. Where else would I take it? Like, seriously. So I was like, I'm drawing because I've always wanted to learn, but one of the goals that I have for myself is to be an artist with Diamond Art Club, because who wouldn't want to be an artist with Diamond Art Club? So I was like, all right. So I've been drawing for, 4 days? 4 or 5 days. And Mr. Coffee is watching me as I'm murdering all these pencil erasers. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but has anybody else noticed that the pencils that you get from Walmart, if you have a Walmart near you, the erasers on them are absolute garbage. Just garbage. I'm murdering these pencil erasers left and right. I had 3 other pencils that I had on me just for the erasers. Like, I had one pencil that was like half, like I had been using it so much it was only half a pencil at this point, with no eraser. And of course, I did the old school trick where you bite the metal piece to make the eraser squish out a little bit more. So then when I finished with that eraser, I had to get another eraser. But I didn't sharpen the pencil. I just used the eraser part of it. Went through that one. Then I got another one. And I ended up having 3 pencils. Now, 2 of them don't have erasers on them because I used just the eraser. But they're great for, like, they still have, like, they haven't been sharpened yet. So they're new. They just don't have erasers. So Mr. Coffee was like, you know, do you want to try something different with your art? And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, it's a digital age. And I was like, yeah, but what's wrong with drawing? And I didn't know where he was going with this. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, how would you feel about getting a tablet? Now, I've had tablets before. I'm not a tablet person, okay? I don't know why. I have a computer. My computer flips into a tablet. But I can't do some of the things that tablets can do. Like, it's not as portable and all that fun stuff. So I'm like, you know, I don't really need a tablet. He goes, if you want to be an artist, he's like, you know, having a tablet in the digital world is not a bad thing. And I'm like, I'm just learning how to draw with pencil and paper, and you want me to now go do it with art or with a tablet? And he goes, well, if you don't like it, then I'll take the tablet, but if you like it, you keep the tablet, and I'll buy a tablet for myself later on. And I was like, okay. So we're looking at tablets, and they are telling us, you know, which tablet is best for what I'm looking for. And sorry I keep sniffing, but I'm getting sick, okay? So that's why I want to record this whip and chat as fast as I can, so that but as I'm sick, you guys will still have videos. So deal with the sniffing for a few more minutes. But I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay. The kids are, you know, running around the AT&T store. They have like a little kid place in the AT&T store. I think I just ran out of that color. I hope I don't need any more of it. I don't think I do. Do I need any more of that color? Nope, this is the last piece with that color, so anyways, so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay. And Jordan's like, now, one of the things I mentioned to Jordan, or Mr. Coffee, is don't settle. We have a horrible habit of wanting something so bad that even if we don't get what we want, we'll settle just to say that we got something. And it's a horrible habit because we end up not liking it, whatever we got, because we decided to settle. And then we just sit there with all that regret, wishing that we hadn't settled. So before we left for the car dealership, I told him, don't settle. If you don't get what you want, then we'll work to get what you want, but don't settle. He goes, fine. So we get in there and he's like, don't settle. And I was like, don't settle for what? So then when I realized that he was taking me in to get a tablet, I was just like, oh God, not a tablet. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. What kind of tablet do I need? And we tell the people what we're looking for. They offered us a promotion where you can get 2 tablets for $100 a piece, and you would just add service to them. So you pay the $100 up, or the $200 up front, and you'd have 2 brand new tablets. They were 8-inch screens for $200. And I was like, that's not. I'm like, I want a nice size workspace, and the lady's like, 8 inches is a nice size workspace. And they're Apple tablets. So I was like, no, I don't really like that one. And the lady goes, well, which one are you looking for? Maybe we can help you out. And I was like, I want the big one. They had one there that looked like a TV screen, okay? That thing looks like it has the same size screen as my computer. And essentially it does. And I'm like, I want this one. Mr. Coffee looks at me. He goes, that's the one I wanted you to look at. So we're looking at it, and they're, telling us all the cool stuff. I sit in there, and the guy goes, do you have a business account? Because we can get you a discount if you have a business account. And I was like, no, I don't have a business account. And he goes, well, you have, what do you do for work? And I was like, I'm a stay-at-home mom that does YouTube. And as I'm sitting there, some guy is like staring at me, and I'm like, why is this guy staring at me? Should I start charging ticket prices? Like, what is this with the staring? And it's something I haven't experienced since I left Pennsylvania. So I'm like, why is this guy staring at me? Well, he didn't start staring at me until I mentioned YouTube. So I'm talking to the sales guy that's helping us with the tablet, and he's like, oh, well, we can turn your personal account into a business account because of your YouTube channel. He goes, how well is your YouTube channel? Is it really like legit? Like, it's not like something that apparently you have to have, a good following of some sort for them to be able to qualify it as a business. And so he was like, can you pull it up so I can see what the YouTube channel is? And I was like, yeah. So I pull it up on the tablet there because, of course, it had internet service. So I pulled it up on the tablet, and he was like, oh my God. And I was like, yes. He goes, you're Miss Coffee. You guys, I'm still new to this whole people recognizing me thing. One, I don't feel like I'm a celebrity. So, like, when people do, like, have that moment of freak out and they're like, oh my God, you're Miss Coffee. Oh my God. I'm just like, yeah, I'm Miss Coffee. What's okay? Calm down. I'm just a normal person. So the guy was like, oh my God, I love your channel. He goes, I watch on Friday nights, but I just lurk. I just happen to come. He's not even a crafter. But one, he loves Killian, of course. And I'm like, who doesn't love Killian? Everybody loves Killian. He goes, your dog, Killian Jones, is like the best thing ever. And I just love your channel. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. The guy that was staring at me comes up and he goes, hi, sorry, I'm, Chris, I'm the manager of the store. And I was like, oh, well, hello. Something wrong? Did I do something? Like, am I offending somebody? And he goes, I have a YouTube channel. And I was like, oh, well, that's great. Like, okay, what are you telling me that for? He's like, how did you build your YouTube channel? And I'm like, oh, I hate this question. I hate the question because it's hard to answer. I'm like, I'm just myself. I'm like, I keep it real with my subscribers. If I don't like something, they know. If a company is, wanting to sell their product, they'll send me a copy or they'll send me something to show. And if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. My subscribers know that I'm not going to let them buy garbage. So I'm just completely honest with them. I tell them funny stories. I go live to interact with them every Friday night. And I just keep it real. He goes, because I have a gaming channel. And I'm like, you have a gaming channel and you're having problems, like, getting subscribers? Like, seriously? And in my mind, all I can think of is, it must really suck because gaming channels on YouTube are, like, very popular. So I'm like, what exactly are you having issues with? Like, I don't understand, because you have a gaming channel. And again, gaming channels, everybody's watching games. And he goes, my games are a little bit different. And as soon as he said that, I went, oh, here we go. His game, like, they do different types of stuff on the channel he does. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's not like, you know, you're playing Fortnite or you're playing Minecraft or anything like that. He's playing, like, sports games. Now, I'm not sure what the world of sports games, how the dynamic is for that. But, like, the only person I really know that does gaming on YouTube that does really well besides, like, Jacksepticeye is, like, Markiplier. So I'm thinking of it as, like, a Markiplier situation where I'm like, well, you know, he plays a bunch of different games and he's just trying to get his foot in the door, like he just started this. Apparently, no, he's had the channel for a while, but he just started back up again. I don't even remember the name of the channel. I feel really bad. But I don't remember the name of the channel. But he is trying to build his subscribers, and I was giving him Miss Coffee's 5, you know, beginner YouTuber tips, and he's like, I just want to hit 1,000 so bad so I can get paid by YouTube. So then I explained to him how that works with the YouTube and getting paid, and how they're not going to just cut you a check because you just for the simple fact that you have a channel. I'm like, if people aren't watching your content, then you don't get paid that month. And so he was just, like, in shock because he thought he was going to get on the YouTubes, get 1,000 subscribers, and immediately just start getting paid, like, buckets of money or something, I guess. And I was just like, nah, that's not how this works. Meanwhile, Orion comes up to me. He's like, Mom, I have to get a haircut. And I was like, yeah, but I know. He goes, in 5 minutes. Y'all, we weren't even halfway done with the stuff at the AT&T store. And I was like, oh, snap. Mr. Coffee's like, I'm on it. He goes, come on, guys, let's go take Orion and go get his haircut. So I give Mr. Coffee, I have to give Mr. Coffee a picture of how I like Orion's hair to be cut. So he doesn't get my kid, like, a mullet or something. Like, because I know Mr. Coffee, he'll end up getting Orion a mullet. Hold on, let me take a sip of my coffee quick. Like, I'm not about to have my son rocking no mullet. So I was like, here's the picture. Take him. You're asking for Crystal. Have Crystal do it. Orion has his own stylist at the hair salon we go to, because she knows how to do a fade. And that's the thing. So my kids have ethnic hair. Mena and Orion do. Maggie doesn't. Maggie doesn't have ethnic hair. She has the curl of it, but she doesn't have, like, her hair is just a wave curl. But it's essentially it's straight. Like Mr. Coffee's. So when we get her hair cut, it's a lot different. She can go anywhere and get her hair cut. But, like, Mena and Orion, they have to go to certain stylists because of the fact of the way their hair is. And if you mess it up, it's noticeable. So the first thing I do when I walk into a hair salon is I ask them, can you do a fade? If they can't tell me what a fade is, or they give me that look of what the hell is a fade, I won't even bother. Like, do you guys have particular stylists that you will only let this person cut your hair? Has anybody ever gotten a really bad haircut from someone? I once got a big chunk of my hair cut out because the lady didn't know how to do ethnic hair, and she lied and said she did. She cut my hair while it was dry. You guys, she literally cut a gigantic piece of the back of my head out because she didn't wet my hair. And I was none the wiser. I figured she knew more than I did, and she essentially butchered my hair. So since then, now if they can't tell me what a fade is, I won't let them do the hair. So the lady Crystal, when I said, can you do a fade? She goes, girl, I was raised in Philadelphia. I was like, for real? She was like, yeah. I was like, okay, girl, let him get a fade. We're going to do a 3 on the top and a 2 and a 1 on the sides. And she goes, gotcha. Which the numbers are the size of the clipper blades. So the 6 makes sure the top is a little bit longer, and then the 2 and the 1 and 2 are closer to the head. Like, the hair is closer to the head, almost gone, essentially. Hopefully that makes sense. Probably not, but we're going to keep moving. So I sent Mr. Coffee the picture. He takes the kids and goes and runs and gets Orion's haircut. while I'm still talking to the guy about YouTubes and trying to get my account set up and everything. And the lady comes back and she goes, okay, I have another deal for you. If you get these 2 tablets, like you could tell that they were running a special and they were trying to really get rid of these tablets for some reason. And I was just like not biting. And I was like, nah, I really like this tablet. It's the iPad Pro with the 12.9-inch screen. And it gives me enough of a workspace that I can draw on it, no problem. So I was like, I really like this one. Do you guys have it? What colors do you have it in? Blah, blah, blah. Now, I was a little upset that they didn't have any accessories for it besides the screen protector. Like, they didn't have a case for it. Because I hate having devices, like electronic devices, without cases. So I ordered one off Amazon when I got home that night. But the only other thing I wanted was the Apple Pen. And Mr. Coffee was like, you know, you've been doing really good yourself, and I'm proud of you, especially for today. You put your big girl pants on and went and took care of business by yourself. So let's just get you this tablet and pen because I want to see what you can do with your art. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. So that's the reason why I got the tablets, because he wanted to do something nice. And I think he was just more so excited and wanted to hurry up and go drive his truck around. So we got the tablet. Oh, there's a piece of trash or something right there. Where are my tweezers? We got the tablet, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this is a big old mamma jamma. Like, this is a big old tablet. And he's just like, oh, and for those people that are freaking out, don't worry. I have another big old bag of 310 right here. But he's freaking out, and he's like, you know, oh, I'm just excited. You're doing really good with your drawings. He goes, for someone who claims they can't draw, you're doing really well. And I'm like, dude, I didn't know I could do this. He goes, have you ever tried, though? And I was like, not really. Like, I didn't really have a reason to. Now, I've set a goal for myself. And even if I never accomplish the goal of being an artist with Diamond Art Club, I am doing something I've always dreamed of doing, which was drawing. Problem is now, I'm trying to juggle that in with adult coloring and... diamond painting. Because, you know, if you do more than one craft, you want to show all the crafts love. And that's not including the Centro machine, which is the knitting machine, which I'm hoping to have another video up for you guys with that, because I did come up with a pattern. I was finalizing the pattern so I could like kind of write it out. So there was that. So I'm sitting there and we get the tablet. Mr. Coffee comes back like 10 minutes before we're done with all the information for the tablet and switching the account over. We actually saved $20 with the business account on our phone bill. And I was like, saving money? Yes. And the guy's like, you know, are there any other accessories you want to go with this? And I was like, actually, do you guys happen to have the Apple Pen in stock? And he goes, oh yeah, we got the Apple Pen. He goes out and gets the pen. He's like, I think it's like $200. And I was like, $200 for a pen? Good God. Nope, $129. I was like, sold. All right. So I got myself a nice tablet and pen to start helping me be more organized with the channel, to help me, you know, just do whatever that I need to do. So yeah, so I'm excited, you guys. And at some point when I start doing like, because on Monday you would have seen a marker review for Art and Fly. So essentially what I want to do eventually is whenever I do those reviews, I want to draw something and then color it in. Like I want to work on color in my own work. Now don't get me wrong, Hannah Lynn, that's my jam. But I would like to essentially color my own designs. And so that's another goal I have for myself, is by the time I do my next marker review, which it won't be by the time I do my next one, because Art and Fly also sent me out the skin tone markers. And so you guys will probably see that video this weekend. But I want to try to draw something. It doesn't have to be anything like intricate, just something enough that I can color it for you guys and show you guys how it works. So there's that. Then after we left the AT&T store, we went and got the kids dinner. We asked them what they wanted. They could have anything. We don't often eat at McDonald's, so they were more than happy to go get McDonald's. And I was like, ew, gross. I ate my leftover Applebee's from Friday because we had Applebee's for dinner. And I was like, I'll eat that. Mr. Coffee went out and drove back out after we got home to go get himself something to eat. I think he just wanted an excuse to leave the house because we passed by Subway 3 times and he never mentioned anything about Subway. And then all of a sudden we got home and he's like, I would like Subway. I'll be right back. So I was like, yeah, at this point, you're just finding an excuse to drive the dang old car. That's fine. Let him have his time in the sun. He loves that little car. So that was essentially Saturday. That was just Saturday. Okay. By the time we got home, everybody was exhausted. The dogs had to go out. And we all are just kind of sitting here like, oh my God, I'm so tired. So tired. Kids were in bed by like 9 o'clock. And we didn't put them to bed. They just passed out. We're not used to being out of the house like that. And Orion's like looking at me Sunday morning. And he's like, Mom, please tell me we don't have anywhere to go today. And I was like, are you still tired, bud? He's like, yes. Literally, both kids ate breakfast and then took a nap. And so I was like, hey, we really do need to start getting them out more. And they go out places with Mr. Coffee on the weekends. I don't usually go out, but they'll go out places with Mr. Coffee if he has errands to run or something. So I was like, maybe we should start getting them out a little bit more now that it's getting to be a little bit warmer outside and what have you. And so we talked about doing that for this weekend because one thing we didn't get to do was go talk to the realtor. Because we have decided to buy a house. Now, it won't be our forever home. It'll be for right now home because of the fact that I don't want to live in North Dakota forever. And if I'm going to freeze my balls off, I want to freeze my balls off in a place that I want to be, which is in Maine. I know they get like, you know, the cold weather and it's right there next to the water. So you're getting that water cold. But one, they have fresh seafood, which would be great for Mr. Coffee and the kids who love seafood. 2, I don't got to cook it because they can go to a restaurant and get that crap because I can't cook seafood anyways because I've never eaten it, nor do I know how to prepare it. So they would have to go to a restaurant. But everybody would be happy. They got fresh seafood, what have you. Plus, by the time we move to Maine, the kids won't even be in the house anymore. So, yeah. But Sunday, I'm sitting here, and Maggie's sitting here doing the most. She's running all over the place, and I was in Cal's live, and Cal mentioned about, you know, her kids not helping her do something, or laundry or something. And I was like, well, the kids will try to help me do chores. Now, my kids will try to help me do chores. The problem is, they're still little. Like, Maggie and Orion are like 8 and 9. They don't have chores. The apartment's only but so big, so if they did have a chore, it would be to keep their room clean. Which with Maggie is easy when she doesn't have her toys right now. And so I'm sitting there and Maggie's doing the most. She's jumping all over the place. I get them up, fed. They take a little nap. They wake up. I get them in the shower to get ready for the day because the next day was school. So I was like, you know, we got to get you guys up and ready for the showers and everything. And so did that, and doing that, they were just kind of like still, you know, whatever. Orion was laying down in his room just chilling, watching TV, just laid there like a zombie all morning watching TV. Maggie was jumping around, playing with the dogs and everything else. That girl has more energy than if I could bottle it up and sell it, I would bottle it up and sell it because that energy is outrageous. She's running around yelling, I'm a unicorn. She's, you know, riding the dogs. And I'm sitting there laughing because Cal was like, you know, her kids don't help with chores. And I'm like, Maggie tried helping with laundry once. Let me tell you how this went. Mommy, I can do my own laundry. I don't like how you do my laundry. It smells like flowers. I want it to smell like unicorns. I don't know what unicorns smell like, baby. They smell delicious. And I'm like, are we eating unicorns? She goes, you don't eat unicorns, Mommy. Don't worry, I'll do my laundry. Well, Maggie decided to do her laundry. She got them in the washing machine just fine. And now that they have Tide Pods and stuff like that, she was able to throw her little pods into the washer. And don't worry for those folks that are like, oh, you got to make sure she doesn't eat. Maggie wouldn't eat the Tide Pod. She's a smart kid. So she throws her little pods in. She presses the button. She goes on her merry way. When it comes time to take the clothes out of the frickin' washer is when she decides, oh, I can't reach all the way down to the bottom. So she then commenced to jumping inside of the washer. which all she had to do was climb up on the dog's food because they have containers that seal so that like they don't get bugs or, you know, mice or whatever in the dog food. Because when we lived in Pennsylvania, we lived next to a field, so, you know, you don't want to get mice in the dog food or whatever, so we would have to make sure it was sealed shut. Well, that container is, you know, pretty tough, so Maggie would just step on it to get into the washer to get her clothes. But then she couldn't reach the dryer. And then at some point, she got frustrated because I was cooking. And I knew she was getting her clothes out of the dryer. I thought she used the step stool that was right next to the washing machine, but no, she didn't. And I know she didn't because there was a big dent in the top of the dog food container. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, Maggie, did you get your clothes out of the washer? And she's like, I'm working on it. And I was like, okay. Didn't think I had to go check on her. 10 minutes later, I'm like, Maggie, did you ever get the clothes out of the washer? And she's like, uh-huh. Y'all, why is Maggie sitting in her underwear in the washer, trying on the clothes in the washer? And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Well, Mommy, the only way I can think to get the clothes out of the washer without them falling on the floor is to put them on. But don't worry, I took the clothes I had on off. She took the clothes she had on off, threw them outside of the washer, and then started putting on the clothes from the washer because she knew she could essentially put on as much as she could and then get out and then take them all off and put them in the dryer. In one way, it was genius. Okay, in one way, I'm like, you are definitely your father's daughter. And another way, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why do you do these things? So yeah. So Maggie tried to help with her laundry. I had to take all the clothes off of her, put her clothes back on her, and like, of course, I like wiped her down for, you know, making sure she didn't have any like laundry chemicals or anything still on her body or whatever. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, only Maggie would think to get in the washer, put the clothes on to transfer them to put them in the dryer because she couldn't reach to the bottom of the washer to get the clothes. And jeans do get a little bit heavy, and she's just a tiny little girl, so she can't, like, you know, be all up doing whatever. So that's the first and last time I let Maggie help with laundry. Now if she helps, she will just stand next to me and hand me, like, I'll hand her the clothes to put in the dryer because I don't need her jumping in and out of the washer trying to get her clothes out so that she can help with laundry. Like, it's not that serious. Like, I don't need that much help that I'm going to have my daughter sitting in the washing machine. My luck, Orion will come by and close her up in there and then just not say nothing. And she'll think that she's in a clubhouse, and then I will be missing her for hours and trying to find her. Yo, kids do some weird things. Remind me next time I do a whipping chat to explain to y'all what happened to Minna and why we had to call the cops on, because we couldn't find Minna, thought Minna had been abducted, and here she was just hiding from us. I'll have to explain that story next time. But with that said, that is going to be it for me today. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, which before I go and give you my end of whatever speech, for those of you who don't know, this is Symbols of Heroism by Diamond Art Club. It is a 41 by 51 centimeter. It is a square with ABs. It has two ABs? Two. Yeah, it has two. So the ABs are up here in the flag, so you can see all that. Look at that sparkle you got. I'm going to hate to give this to Papa. I'm just telling you that right now. Have you ever done a painting for someone? And, you ever done a painting for someone, and then when you get close to doing or finishing it, you're like, I don't know if they're going to get that. That's how I'm feeling right now, because this is gorgeous. Now, I obviously am going to make sure Pawpaw gets it, because if I don't, I'm pretty sure he will make sure that I give it to him, or he'll have some words for me, and I don't want to have words with Pawpaw, so he'll get it. But you guys, look at that sparkle. Oh my God. So it is a square. It is going fine. I'm not getting a lot of the gapping in the drills. Like, here. Come down. I'm trying to get to a spot where... Doesn't this look like an ear of corn, by the way? It looks like an ear of corn. But there's not a whole lot of gapping in the drills. Again, well, that drill's not even... Hold on. That drill's not even in the right spot. But there's not a lot of gapping in the drills. I am finding a little bit more trash than normal. But I'm not running out of any drills. I'm already over halfway done with the canvas. I'm hoping to have it done this week, so that I can start the lion on March 1st, which March 1st is a Sunday, so I will be posting up in the group the start to that. That's just something that, you know, I figured it's not a big like crochet along, but I figured if people want to do it with me, I have peoples to do it with, because it's a partial, folks. It's a partial. Anyways, with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this canvas or any other Diamond Art Club canvas, please feel free to leave those down in the comment section below. If you are new to the channel and would like to see more random crazy videos just like this one, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified anytime I randomly decide to put up a video. And believe me, it's random. With that said, folks, I'm now going to have to bid you adieu. But not before reminding you, like I always try to be kind, be courteous, be cool. Bye, guys.